I just wanted to start by asking you, what first inspired your passions for leading nonprofits and helping our community?
That's a great question. I was actually born in Washington, D.C. So I was, in a neighborhood where a lot of public servants worked. I just grew up with really understanding and meeting and living near people who gave up their lives for public service. And went to different countries and brought their families to those countries. And so I just really learned a lot from those folks. And then my family, all of my family, my grandparents and my parents were both very big on volunteering. And so I just grew up with a lot of like encouragement to volunteer and to give back.
Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I feel like volunteering is so important, especially as little like teenagers like us.
Yes.
It's such an important like to build empathy and understanding of our communities.
Right. Yes, definitely.
Yes. And I feel like through volunteering, you definitely build a strong community. Definitely. That's a big
Mhm.
part of it. And I just wanted to ask you, in your view, what does it take to like build a strong community? And how would you advise our viewers to be able to build that community, especially in volunteering?
Great. Well, first of all, I think you need to have a passion for what you do. There are lots of different volunteer opportunities, as you all probably are aware. And so I would to recommend finding something that you have a passion for, or just trying, like, especially at your age or any age, trying something different. But I think just having empathy and respect and caring for other human beings is what's important, and being understanding that we all have a lot in common, more in common than we have differences. And so I think just understanding that it's important to keep reaching out to one another, being respectful of one another, and any kind of volunteer opportunity that you have, it gives you the opportunity to give back and reach out to people that you would not have met otherwise. So I've met so many cool people by just trying different things and volunteering in different places. And it's been great. It's been life-changing. So,
So great to hear. Yeah,
yeah.
volunteer work can definitely help you meet a lot of new people and new
Mhm.
experiences as well.
Right. Yeah, you meet other people that are passionate about working with other people and reaching out and wanting to make the world a better place.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah, and
yeah.
it's definitely like shown throughout like Dublin Food Pantry, the passion that your whole team has. And
Mhm.
I
Hmm.
just wanted to jump to this cool piece of evidence we found
Hmm.
that Dublin Food Pantry has distributed over 100,071 meals just in the first 3 months of this year. So
Right.
I just wanted to ask, like, what actions or strategies made that kind of impact possible?
Oh man, so it's very volunteer driven, and in terms of the types of like donations that we get and the work that happens. So there's multiple things that happen, but it all comes with because people care about food insecurity and are taking action to make a difference. So one, we have volunteers that actually volunteer at the pantry, and we have different shifts of volunteers, some that actually drive and pick up food from our food rescue restaurant, not restaurants, but um, grocery stores and other establishments. So we have volunteers that do that. We have volunteers that actually stock the shelves for us and date check the food that gets donated. We have folks in the community that donate food. We have organizations that donate food. So there's just all kinds of things that happen because people care and are donating, working together to make food available for people who are struggling.
Right.
So,
And yeah, even
yeah.
like specific organizations, there's a lot of different like things you can do, and that's probably important for our viewers to know, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So do you want me to talk about certain organizations that we work with, or?
Yeah, that would be
Okay,
That would
great.
okay.
sure.
So the food rescue programming from the area grocers, we work with 15 different grocery stores that have food rescue programs. And I won't mention all of them, but like all of the Krogers around Dublin donate food rescue items. All of the Giant Eagles around Dublin, Meyer, Whole Foods, Costco. If I forget any, Trader Joe's, all of those Aldi's, all of those grocery stores donate food to be distributed at the food pantry. And so they can produce like produce, canned goods, meat, fish, anything that they have available that they can donate. Bread and other items. So does
Yeah,
that help, or do you want me to say, I can say other ones?
no, that's
No,
good.
that
That
thank
really
you.
Okay, okay.
sounds like you've built such a huge community around the Dublin Food Pantry, which is so cool to us. And I definitely think that that's something that's vital around an organization like yours. And according to your website, there's been around a 200% increase in pantry
Yeah,
visits since 2019. And
yes.
so, regarding community, what do you think is the main driving issue that has increased our community's need for support and food?
Definitely the environment, right? Especially right now, there's a lot of, right now there's been a lot of funding cuts at both the state and federal level, and we're kind of watching that very carefully. People come to us when they're in crisis, and so, if somebody loses a job, they might come to us a couple times. One of the things that we think is interesting is that the average number of times that a person comes to our pantry is less than four times a year. So people are really using the pantry when they really are in crisis and in need. And so, so we're just seeing like, I mean, I've been at the pantry where we've gotten a call from someone who's just lost their job. They don't know how they're going to pay for food for their family. And so, we get that a lot. Like people are in a temporary crisis and they reach out to us for in need. So that's it. Right now, we're watching. We're very concerned about the funding cuts that seem to be planned at both the state and the federal level that will really impact people in our community that are already experiencing food insecurity.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of people face challenges related to this. And we
Right.
actually did some research on the DublinFoodPantry.org website and
Mhm.
mentioned like a clear link between food security and mental health. And could you just
Mhm.
kind of explain this connection and why it's so crucial for um, the access of food to benefit like the well-being of people in Dublin?
Right. So definitely, I mean, experiencing food insecurity is not a single event. So it's a person's well-being is impacted by the fact that they might be anxious about not having access to food for themselves or their family members. They might be anxious about other things because, like I mentioned before, they may have just lost a job. And so they're trying to figure out, how do I find a new job? How do I find ways to support my family? And food is just one of those ways, right? And so it's just really important to look at folks from different levels. In fact, we Vantage Points, so we're partnering with folks that provide doctors who provide primary care. We're partnering with Centero that provides behavioral health care services. We're partnering with the school district to make sure that we're looking at academics and how does food insecurity impact the academic, performance of students. So we're looking at it from a variety of different angles, but it's important to look at a person from a lot of different ways so that you're not just looking at like that person's has food insecurity. They might have anxiety and depression that's leading to food insecurity or other issues. Um,
Seems like the food pantry is definitely like a great resource to help people get back on their feet during these hard
It
times.
really is. And that's one of the things we try to emphasize because I think sometimes people misunderstand that. I think maybe people misuse this resource. That is not the case when you look at our data. People are truly using it because they need it.
For sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that was really like definitely like really impactful, especially to
Hmm.
us, because it helps us understand a lot more about our
Right.
community. And I
Mhm.
was just wondering, like, what inspired you from like a young age, especially as like student age like us, to pursue this kind of career?
Again, I think, I came from a long line of like all the women in my family were teachers. So I just thought growing up that was what I was going to do with my life. And I ended up working in nonprofits and also in public service. So again, I think I was very influenced by my family and also growing up where I grew up in the DC area. There was just so much, everybody was basically a public servant. So I saw that live and in front of me. And everyone had such diverse ways that they were giving back to our country and to the community. So I said that was a huge influence for me. Um, so I never looked back. That was what I was going to do. So,
Yes, and I'm sure in your job it's a very big learning experience also. And I just wanted to
Mhm.
ask you what's like one of the biggest things you've learned from leading the Dublin Food Pantry?
So that's a great question. For 40 years, I worked in behavioral health. So I was in public service and nonprofit. And so I retired last year and I failed retirement because I came to the food pantry. So I am learning a ton about food insecurity and how food and nutrition systems work. One of the things that has just been so heartwarming to me is just how much this community gives and cares about food insecurity and how generous this community is. I mean, our volunteers are amazing, and the folks that donate food from the community have just, I mean, I've just been floored by how much people give and how generous people are. So that's a huge learning experience for me. Not that I should have been surprised, but it's just wow, you know. So. Mhm.
And like definitely we can definitely tell like the impact that everyone's work put together has made.
Mhm.
And like especially Dublin Food Pantry, like it's made such a big impact through the work in our community. And I was wondering, what were the first steps that youth today can take in order to help others on a large scale, like how you have?
Oh, well, I think if you're looking at food insecurity, you can do simple things like I mean, it sounds some food drives, just looking at ways that you can, I mean, in terms of food insecurity, I mean, a food drive is a great way to give back. And right now we're doing like and collaborating with other organizations or other student groups because like right now we're collaborating with One Dublin who provides other resources in the community. And we're having a feminine hygiene product, you know, donation drive right now together because we're concerned that women and young women don't have access to feminine hygiene products, which are very expensive. So just partnering with others and looking for people who are like-minded who are passionate about the same things to like just get something started, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah, I was also wondering like how has this experience like leading and organizing this nonprofit like really shaped your personal and core values? And do you
Mhm.
have like any advice for people who are thinking of joining other nonprofits?
Yeah. I think again, you really, for me, being respectful, kind, welcoming, and just understanding that you have to be passionate about whatever you choose to do.
Mm.
And pick your passion, pick what you want to do. And I think that really has driven me throughout my life. And I can't even imagine not doing what I've been able to do in life because, again, there's been all kinds of people who have supported me and reaching out and finding people that believe the same way that you do and are passionate about the work that you're doing is really exciting. And I have really enjoyed, like, I love seeing all of you. One of the things I've enjoyed is working with young women and young professionals to grow their career and to help them in their careers throughout while I was at Centero, where I retired from, and at the food pantry. It's so exciting to watch young people get involved and in different things and just see their energy is so cool. So,
I think passion and teamwork are definitely reoccurring themes in this.
yeah, definitely. Mhm.
And then kind of like bouncing off of that, I mean, volunteering, it gives you such a wide set of skills. And
Mhm.
I was just wondering, what are some skills that you can get from volunteering that can be applied to any type of circumstance overall?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think just in terms of volunteering, just flexibility, because a lot of times you get thrown into things that you weren't expecting. And so, like in a volunteer kind of environment, it's like just be flexible because, be willing to just do about just about anything because you're going to learn no matter what kind of situation you're put in. My husband and I and our sons worked volunteered for the Miracle League for 10 summers. And we never knew what we were going to get into when we went out there, but it was so exciting. And all that mattered was that the young people with disabilities were playing baseball, but so I wasn't so concerned about everything lining up the way it should or whatever. It was just like, the goal was to get these kids to play baseball. And like the goal of the food pantry is to feed people. So it's just like, how do we make that happen? You know?
Yeah, especially on the topic of making things happen. I love
Mhm,
what you said about encouraging young women to overcome
mhm,
and work on their careers. And
mhm,
I was wondering, like, when you were like as a young woman yourself, I was
mhm.
wondering if you had ever overcome any challenges that have really impacted you or helped you learn like a really valuable lesson that would help us and our viewers learn from.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there were times when I was in situations in a work environment where I was not being treated well, and I wish that I had left that situation sooner than I did because it took a toll. And there weren't many situations like that, but there were two or three during my career where I had somebody in a leadership position that was not treating me well. And I wish I had just said, you know what, I'm gone. I'm not doing this anymore. But I stayed for a lot longer than I should have because I cared about what I was doing. But I think it took its toll on my mental health. And that certainly wasn't worth it. So I think just if you're not happy in a situation and you're not being treated well, I think looking at your options and not staying in a situation too long, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely about finding that balance between like being passionate and then also like treating yourself right.
Right. I
Um,
mean, and then when I became like in a situation where I was the leader of the organization, I made sure that everybody got treated with respect and dignity. So I think that's part of what I learned and that I could take into a leadership position.
Right.
So,
Really important. And also, I just wanted to talk to you about, you said that like you had to kind of get out of that situation,
mhm,
but I just want to say, a lot of women feel like, oh, I can't like get out of the situation. Like, where will I go? What will I do?
right.
So I just wanted to ask, like, what would you say to those people, and how would you advise them to kind of get out of an unfair job environment, but also like not feel scared?
Right. No, it is scary because you're looking at something that's unknown, but I think, a lot of times those are the best opportunities, at least I've found throughout the years that when I have taken a risk, it's been life-changing in a very good way. So sometimes you have to take those risks in order to get into a different situation that's even going to be more impactful and more powerful for you and the others around you. So, I found that every time I've taken a risk to do something different, it's made my life better and my professional life better and my personal life better. So,
and just kind of wrapping up, I was wondering if you could tell us just how our community could get involved because we know that the Dublin Food Pantry fits the needs of over 8 zip codes and 3 countries, which is a huge reach. And so,
right.
like, how could people just get involved and help out?
We can always use donations, food donations. We have a donation area in front of our building at 6608 Dublin Center Drive, where you can donate from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day. And you can drop off food and different, or personal hygiene items at that donation area. So we can always use donations. And we can always use donations of funds or money as well, because we can purchase more food with with dollars, then I mean, it's more impactful and goes a longer way. So just simply, we need food and we need donations. And if you look at our website, we always have a section on there on the top that has our most needed items. So, you know, people can look at that, but yeah, donate food.
Yeah, we'll definitely leave like
Yeah.
the link for our viewers to be able to come and see
Great,
the website and do all that.
great.
And unfortunately, our time is up for today.
Aw,
Guys,
okay. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
asking me.
No, we
Yeah.
had so much fun like learning from you and understanding a
Yeah.
lot more about our community. So
Aw.
we're super grateful for you to be able to take this time and talk with us.
Great.